addressing an event on Earth Day on 22nd April 2025, Union Road Transport and Highways Minister have pointed out that the contribution of agriculture to GDP has come down to 14% over the years in India. This statement is very timely and appropriate and must spur informed national debate on appropriate methods for improving the contribution of agriculture to national GDP in an eco-friendly and holistic manner. At present, in India, manufacturing sector contributes 22% and services sector contributes 54% to national GDP. The contribution of agriculture to GDP has been steadily coming down. Of course, the availability of area for agricultural land has also been steadily coming down in the country due to diversion of agricultural land to infrastructure projects and housing, etc., to some extent. Obviously, to improve the share of agriculture to GDP, it is necessary that activities in the farming sector should be made economically viable for the farming community and should be nationally relevant and at the same time providing environmental benefits. At present, agriculture sector in India is largely dominated by wheat, paddy, sugarcane, cotton, and so on. Government of India has been trying to help the farmers to improve their income by providing minimum support price for a few crops, and a few other proactive measures have been initiated and implemented. But these steps have only helped the farmers to sustain the agricultural operations at the present level without enhancing the contribution of agriculture to national growth. This is the ground reality. One sure way to achieve this end of increasing contribution of agriculture to national GDP is to promote agro-based industry to maximize the returns in the farming sector to the farming community and improve the contribution of agriculture sector to national GDP. This is the task of the day that is required to be attended to. Now, having said this, now let us look into this Government of India's policy with regard to the blending of ethanol with petrol and what are the issues relating to that. Government of India is focusing on blending ethanol produced from sugar crop and others with petrol to reduce the import dependence on crude oil. To achieve this objective, remunerative price for ethanol purchase have been announced by the government-owned oil marketing companies. Further, Government of India is permitting ethanol production not only from traditional feedstock, namely molasses, but also from rice, sugar, sugarcane juice, starch, and so on, which are essentially food crops. However, in these steps, to boost production of ethanol, farmers have not been benefited to the extent that ethanol producing units have benefited who are distillery units because of the prices given for ethanol by the oil marketing companies. To the extent that the units have been benefited, farmers have not been benefited. Further, there is a difference of opinion in the country about the advisability of converting food crops into feedstock for ethanol production for blending with petrol. In a large populated country with one of the highest population density in the world and population level still rising and significant percentage of national population still living below poverty line, diverting food crops for ethanol production may be a questionable decision. This is being questioned by several experts in the country. Instead of using starch for the production of starch produced from maize for the production of ethanol, starch from maize can be utilized for the production of derivative chemicals such as citric acid, L-lysine, lactic acid, mannitol, and others, which are presently produced from petrochemical feedstock. And a few of them are largely imported due to lack of production capacity in the country. Using starch as feedstock for production of derivative chemicals can help in reducing the import level of crude oil and also provide better return for the farming community for cultivating such crops. The rate of return by converting starch into derivative products would be far better than using starch for the production of ethanol in economic terms. Having looked into this, now let us look into this feasibility of producing ethanol from bamboo. In this context, Union Road Transport and Highway Minister has made an excellent suggestion to produce ethanol from bamboo. Massive quantity of production of ethanol from bamboo would provide economic and social benefits to the farming community and improve the rate of returns, particularly in the northeastern region. This suggestion has to be actively considered by the Government of India to boost the production of ethanol from bamboo, which will also have several social benefits. Having looked into this, now let us look into the feasibility of producing ethanol from algae crop. Algae crop contains 20 to 25% oil on an average, depending on the species. Algae is a quick growing crop and grow at high rates. Example, 1 to 3 doublings per day. Average time for algae growth up to harvesting is only around 4 weeks. For growth of algae, good sunshine, solar radiation, and carbon dioxide and small quantity of nutrients are only required. Saline or brackish water or coastal sea water is adequate. Algae crop can be grown in wasteland, and algae cultivation does not come in conflict with the cultivation of food crops in any way. Biofuel can be extracted from algae crop, and ethanol can be produced from the algae biomass that are left after the oil extraction from algae crop by fermentation process. Considering the large availability of wasteland in India, good sunshine in most part of the year in several parts of the country, and availability of carbon dioxide, which are global warming gas, and emitted in huge quantity in India by power plants and others, growth and utilization of algae crop can be a win-win situation for the country. Algae crop should be cultivated in several regions, and the facility for extracting biofuel from algae crop and production of ethanol can be set up in India in nearby regions, which would be an elegant way of combining operation and industrial activity that would significantly contribute to improve the economy of the rural India and provide better returns for the farming community. Having looked into this, now let us look into the feasibility of producing ethanol from sugar beet crop. The feasibility of promoting beet sugar has to be actively considered in India. Sugar beet crop is not only the source of sugar, but also provides several byproducts like molasses for production of alcohol, pulp, and leaves for cattle feed. Sugar beet cultivation has a number of advantages. Sugar beet cultivation requires less water as compared to sugarcane cultivation. 2 crops of sugar beet can be taken in 1 year. It can be grown practically for 10 months every year. Sugar beet is excellent in rotation crop with most of the crops, enhancing this productivity. Sugar beet can give the same amount of sugar as sugarcane per land unit in half the time, 5 to 6 months, vis-a-vis 12 months with 1/3 of the water requirement. And the alcohol yield from the beet molasses is almost on par with the alcohol yield from cane molasses. Now, having looked into this, let us see where is the gap, what is the problem, what are the initiatives that is required by the government of India. In spite of several advantages, algae crop is not being cultivated in India to produce biofuel and ethanol. And beet crop is not cultivated in India for the production of beet sugar and ethanol. There is no justification from the point of view of technological or economic aspects for not utilizing these opportunities. Globally, for sugar industry, 70% of the feedstock requirement is met by sugarcane and the balance 30% is by sugar beet crop. Several R&D initiatives have been launched with active government support in several countries, including USA, for promotion of algae crop and for production of biofuel as well as ethanol from algae crop. Commercial success has already been achieved at a highly significant level in several countries, including USA. By facilitating the production of ethanol from algae crop and beet sugar crop, the national production of ethanol can be tripled within the next 18 months and enabled to increase the blending ratio of ethanol to petrol to at least 30%. This would give several advantages for India, including in reducing the consumption of petrol. Obviously, production of large quantity of biofuel and ethanol from algae crop and ethanol from beet sugar crop can enable India to reduce import dependence on crude oil to some extent and move towards achieving zero emission target in future, apart from steps of aiding to improve the contribution of agriculture sector to national GDP growth. This is an elegant scheme for promoting agro-based industries that provide multiple benefits for the country as well as the farming community. It is necessary that the government of India should take the scheme immediately for promotion by initiating appropriate policy measures immediately. There is particularly a high responsibility for Niti Aayog to examine this proposal in depth and make the recommendation to the government of India. The ball seems to be clearly in the court of the Niti Aayog. Now, having listened to this very important topic, for which we thank you all for all the participants, we request you to kindly let us know if you need any further information or clarifications on the subject discussed. Considering the importance and significance of this subject for national cause, please consider passing the email ID and passing the link to your friends and associates who could be interested in the subject as much as you are. Thank you very much.